I wonder which one. It might be an easy one, it might be a hard one, or it might be somewhere in between. I don't know. I think all my easy ones have already been beaten. Anyway, 19 out of 1,777. Flightzo, Hatastrophe. Okay, so this is a... It's either a propeller hack horse, which probably is. Oh, McLovin XT, I remember him. He was the one he got the first clear on Katsu coin collecting 8. I vaguely remember a guy named Guy Skull. I remember Seiron kind of okay. Anyway, 2020 course. I don't know if I've played any courses from you yet. Was this your first time coming to the stream? Today? I feel like I'm losing track of who I'm talking to sometimes. I think you were the main person we were talking to today, actually. It feels weird for me to say that. Oh yeah, you're the Hollow Knight player, or whatever. You got the Hornet. Sorry, I'm probably think I'm rude or something. It's just I don't know. I feel like I sometimes just like don't function socially when people are being rude or whatever or something. Anyway, it's not you, obviously. It's other people. It's just what's happening right now? How are we gonna hit a switch? I'm confused. Oh, we have to get this thwomp to hit it. Okay. Oh no, there is more than one. Wait, what is this? Oh, you want us to shoot it? Whoa. This is definitely a shapeshifter level then. Man, this is tough for a shapeshifter level because you're using that clear condition. Yikes. Yeah, I'm actually using this clear condition in my super world. I'm not using it very often though. I'm trying to remember if we have this clear condition that hasn't been cleared yet. Anyway, this is pretty short. Okay. Yeah, my courses tend to be longer than yours, so I think a lot of people would find that to be a great excuse for not having completed my courses yet. Okay, I think we got this. I think I sort of figured out what we're supposed to do here. Yeah, that seems correct. Okay, now we just gotta do the next part. That. Oh! Oh, which one was it? Oh, it was that one? Oh, okay. Yeah, that one is pretty interesting. I'm really proud of it, because it was basically based off of Inuyasha and Dragon Ball Z. Oops. Thematically, anyways. I mean, it was supposed... I wasn't, like, trying to copy, like, that's the setting or whatever. It just kind of happened that way. Interesting. Oh, I gotta be faster. Yeah. The reaction, it's really hard to have the quick reaction on some of this. I've noticed that I just sort of like accidentally design stuff that like reminds me of stuff. Talking is hard sometimes when you're tired. You probably get what I mean though. You didn't like the beginning? Yeah, I suppose because your course is short, you probably wouldn't. Oops. Oh, I remember, what was his name? Scarface Saints? Have you played his levels? Scarface Saints, he had this contest rule that he wants you to... I was not interested in joining the contest, but I did send him a viewer level, and then he was like criticizing it, because he was like going against his contest rules or whatever. I'm like, bruh, this isn't a contest level. You know this. Like, dude, just chill out, bro. Whoa. I mean, I thought the beginning was funny and interesting, but I can see a lot of players thinking it's just a giant waste of time, it's too easy, it's not challenging, or whatever, right? I'm assuming that's why people might not like it. Oh. But if you want to clarify why you don't like it, you're completely welcome to do so, but you can also just not. Doesn't matter too much to me. I am curious, but also respect your freedom to talk about stuff or not talk about it. This part might be a little bit tricky too. I guess a lot of this is pretty tricky. This is so much shorter than my shell delivery level. It actually puts my shell delivery level to shame for how short it is. Maybe we should try to make a short shell delivery course. I mean, the one on map 5 is pretty short, but it's not this short. I am kind of curious how fast some people could beat that level, but I haven't really been sending it to any good players yet. I just wanted to give not so great player the first clear first. Oh! Okay, new PB. Hype moment. Oh no! What the? The button's not working. You think the area is too cramped? Well, compared to the rest of the level, I suppose I could kind of see what you mean, but I mean, if you've already been in the dry bones room, that room's kind of cramped too. I would say it's pretty similar, if not more cramped than the very beginning, but anyway. Maybe it's just a combination of the those two things that you mentioned is what sets you off. Maybe one thing by itself doesn't bother you. That's fair. Yeah, I was noticing that Zamora really struggled to do the boss fight room, as we call it, with the objective where the dry bones were. He was struggling to do that. He was able to do it, but I would have expected someone of his skill to get it faster than he did. It was kind of funny. Aldwolf was playing it, and he was just kind of goofing off. He was sandbagging, Aldwolf was for sure. I can't really say this Zamora was. I don't think he's a sandbagging type, unless you want to like say that sometimes he wastes time trying to speedrun stuff instead of just beating it, which is what he did for Katsu Coin Flip in 16, but he was far from the only person that did that. Other people were doing that too, but anyway, what was I saying? Not sure. Anyway, Yeah, it is a little time consuming, but I thought the amount of time spent on it was interesting. I will admit the interesting part is mostly kind of random, but like there are opportunities for you to like get faster times and stuff at the beginning. Well, I thought the beginning was really funny, but not just the fact that it was funny, but also it's just like one of those things that you could speedrun that, you know, like try to get a new PB, getting through the, so that's honestly, that's like one of the things that like I think some makers might underrate a little bit. I'm not sure if you're, you know, multitasking currently listening or not, but you know, we make so many courses and we have so many like players that like to chase the world records for courses and stuff, which is fine, but like I noticed that sometimes the players take for granted how simple it is sometimes, especially if they already know like the main speedrunning tricks, how simple it would be to just get a world record on various courses, right? Either you know more speedrunning tricks than somebody else or you don't, you know? And then you either get to the course you know, with the world record first, or you don't, that kind of thing, and then other people can only match your world record if that happens. With the context of this course, trying to like get like a world record, like the beginning has enough, you know, randomness to it that it could be pretty interesting potentially for people that don't mind the randomness with their world record attempts. So that's kind of the main reason why it's like that. Like, yes, it is time consuming, but it's not that big of a deal if you get lucky, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. So I think that's kind of interesting, personally. But I can understand that not everybody really cares all that much about randomness. They would prefer to leave it all behind, but at the same time, I mean, it's a Magic Koopa level anyways, right? Like, what else are you gonna do about it? Like, technically, they don't necessarily have anything to do with the clear condition, but there is a Magic Koopa at the very end of the course, and we were using them in other parts of the world too, so I've been kind of using the Magic Koopa and the Dry Bones together a lot of the time. There are a couple of courses where they're not together, but with the context of this course, I felt like it would be more fun with them together. So it's kind of good. Ugh. I realized after I did the clear check that I was doing the end part very dumb. I could have, I mean, as a player, I could have handled the end part so much better than what I actually did. But anyway. But I didn't realize what I could have done until after I was watching somebody play it, but then they didn't do what I was thinking of. I just happened to think of it as a viewer at the time. So I guess what I mean to say is, I mean, maybe I could have spent a little longer working on the level, I guess, but I'm not really sure what I would have changed. I think it's pretty good as it is. Yeah, okay, yeah. Yeah, I just read your comment. Magic Koopa excavation is what you're calling it. I mean, that's definitely something you can call it. That's a fair assessment of what the player is doing. Actually, you know, it's funny because I saw Aldwolf was like skipping my levels, and I was like, how do I get him to stop skipping my levels? And he was spending so much time on Magic Koopa excavation course, right? And so I was like, if he's gonna keep playing this level and he's given it a like, I guess that means I should give him a Magic Koopa excavation course to play. Now, granted, the one that you just played just now, technically he did play that. I gave that to him just out of curiosity to see how he'd react. That's not the course that I built for him specifically for him to not skip it, you know what I mean? So, But that course was literally called Magic Koopa Madness, and it's like the watery SMW course. I guess that's not cool. But anyway. What was I saying? When I was first building that course, I had, like, the first room, there were way more rows of invisible blocks that the players had to break open. And I was like practicing it, having fun, playtesting it, whatever. It was interesting. But I wanted a second room to be grand and, or like epic or whatever. Like, I wanted it to be really fun and interesting. And I wanted 6 rows on the second room. And it was different from the first room, so I had to make I had to nerf the first room because it was taking me too long to get through the first room. But I was actually having fun getting like a PB kind of, but it's only a little bit of fun, I will admit, like for like Magic Koopa RNG speedrunning shenanigans, I've never been, like, huge on speedrunning in general, so, but yeah, and so I was like, yeah, I don't want to really grind this speedrun, you know, for playtesting purposes, and I'm just gonna go ahead and nerf this for everybody, because otherwise the timer's just gonna be too tight and all that. Anyway, what was I talking about? Like, basically, you said, what was it? The Magic Koopa excavation? Right, like, I feel like I put a little bit of effort into making sure that the excavation wasn't too, grueling, if that's the right word, right? Maybe I could have done, like, a smaller wall, right? Because we were going horizontally, but I already went with like a small ceiling anyways. So, and that was the first time we have like the horizontal wall destruction with the Magic Koopa in the Super World, so it's not like I would build an entire level based on that, you know? But yeah, I mean, like, maybe there could be an argument for, like, it wouldn't be such a bad idea, perhaps, to, like, reposition that, or at the very least, maybe, like, assign some sort of, like, a reset door, I mean, like, a practice door or something. I don't know, I think about it, my Goomba Shoe Boo Extermination level, well, I don't know if you'd really call it an extermination, because you only have to defeat 53 out of 66, but that's still a lot of boos you have to fight and kill. But either way, what am I trying to say about that course? It's like, oops. In that course, there was like a beginning part that was very time consuming. It was much, much longer than the beginning of that Magic Koopa level. And I was like, you know what, this is something like 40 seconds plus or something. Or I don't remember how long. Yeah, I think it was actually around 40 seconds. It's funny because we're making a shell delivery course and we're still forcing the player to do around 40 seconds and stuff at the beginning. But the difference is this is like really, 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 really fun and not like tedious or at all. Like, I don't know. I hate to say it about my Boo killing level, but like the Goomba Shoe part, like I actually have more fun swimming with the Goomba Shoe than actually like jumping around, right? So for me, it felt kind of tedious. I don't know if everyone else would necessarily agree, but that's why I felt like I needed to put in a reset door. And maybe I should have done that, something like that for the Magic Koopa level. I'm not sure exactly how the design like that would look. Or being like a practice door or whatever it was called, but what I'm trying to say, Maybe that's something that I could have done, but maybe we'll try thinking about doing it next time, I guess, if I end up having like a somewhat lengthy introduction. Anyway, oops. Yo, Star Blast Sam, what's up? Thanks for adding a level. Yeah. Yeah, I remember it's funny, sometimes the reason why we do levels can be like, kind of like a small reason sometimes, but sometimes it's like just enough to make it happen. And I guess it's totally fine if like, we have first clear chasers with like, you know, might get a little salty about the level sometimes. I've definitely seen some streamers like do some really funny and embarrassing things over the years, and a lot of the times the levels I design are to get people to do that, you know, like, because it's just fun to me as a viewer. A lot of the times stuff like that. Okay. Wow, that was a new PB. We got so close. Like, actually, a lot of the stuff I design is, like, specifically meant to be funny. Like, you could even say, like, all of my levels are troll levels, but also none of my levels are troll levels at the same time. I feel like both perspectives would be true. Like, in the context of, like, a troll level basically being something that's, like, puzzle solving, but also, like, it's supposed to be funny, then I think, like, pretty much all of my levels are troll levels. Like, I feel like I'm just, like, constantly making my stuff be puzzle solving without trying to. So... But one thing I do try to do, though, is I do try to make my levels funny, most of the time, anyway. There's definitely a course that I wasn't trying to make funny, but I think it probably still has some humorous points in it, though. But it kind of, like, just accidentally happened, and I just let it be in the level or whatever. Which was, what was it called again? That was, oops. We were so close! That's the one that's called A Shapeshifter's Adventure, actually, believe it or not. It actually hasn't been cleared yet, but Red and I almost beat that course. And then... Well, when he was close, he decided to just move on to another level. And then when he got back to my code, he decided to just play easier levels, and he beat like 2 of them in one session. And then moved on to the next code. So that was an interesting choice, because he could have beaten that level if he wanted to, but I guess he just was curious and wanted to satisfy his curiosity and see what else I had been making recently. Anyway, yeah, if somebody doesn't snatch up the first clear on that soon, then Red Knight might end up getting it next month or whenever it is if he plays my level again, who knows. And he might just decide not to come back to it again, at least not until he's played other levels or something, I don't know, but... I'm not gonna be, like, subscribing to him or whatever to, like, get him to play more of my levels or something. It's just gonna have to be something that happens eventually, I guess, or not. Okay, so if I'm trying to think, how would I do this ending? No, this ending is not easy. At least, I don't really know what would make it easy. Oops, that's not good. Yeah, I was thinking about trying to do that. I wonder if it would help if I did like a ground pound cancel first, or maybe. Oops. I'm forgetting what I'm doing partway through some of this. I will say, if it's a first clear challenge, I generally prefer less tips, just for the sake of having more, like, glory, if you want to call it that, when the course finally does get cleared. Of course. Oh, yeah. Yeah, there are literally 3 arrows that I just was not paying attention to. That must be what you're talking about. Those are indicating a wall drag and wall jump or something like that, I suppose. Okay. It's funny, like, the stuff that players will just completely miss. I was talking about that earlier, you probably were here at the time, but I was talking about how in Coin Grab Gauntlet number 14, like, it's a Goomba Mask level that people don't notice the locked door in that level. And they don't realize that they can just trade in their key that they can get from killing the Magic Koopa. Ugh. Because people tunnel vision, and that just happens to me as well. I changed my setup recently, to try to minimize tunnel vision. I am playing on a smaller screen now, so I should be able to see everything better. Which, like, within a smaller, you know, space, like, basically my eyes have to do less scanning if I'm looking at the game, you know, with a smaller screen, I guess is what I'm trying to say. That's the theory, anyway. But maybe because I'm tired, it's not working so well. Like, that's a decent excuse, but whatever. Okay, there we go. Oof, that's a pretty low jump, but we got it. Yeah, I prefer to call it a drag myself, but yeah, I understood what you meant easily enough. Let's go ahead and start over. Whoops. Oh, you don't have your tags locked. That's interesting. Where do we want to leave the comments? I guess right about here is probably fine. I'm gonna call it a Shapeshifter course, because that's basically what it is. Usually I just say it approves of this course. Alright, you know, it's funny, I don't really like Shapeshifter levels, but when I made my Shapeshifter course, it was different because, each time you transform, well, mostly, at least, you are going into a warp block, and on the other end, your power-up gets replaced, is kind of what's happening in this course. So, like, when the game, like, pauses, because you, like, transfer power-ups or whatever, like, that, like, look at this. Okay, I collect this, the hat, like, the game doesn't actually pause, right? If I were to collect, like, Fire Flower, Builder Suit, Super Bell, whatever, or Super Hammer, whatever that stuff is called, the game is going to pause while I collect that stuff. Like, if I take damage, the game's gonna pause. But with all these, like, tools, these hats or whatever, the game's not pausing on me. I really don't like the pause very much. But anyway, in my course, you do go to, like, you get the fire suit, and then you get the super belt later. But again, like I said, you're using, and then there's a boomerang flower as well. But the point is, you go into the warp block, and so even though it's pausing, when you get the power up, it doesn't feel bad because you're teleporting in anyways, right? You're going into a warp device anyways. So I really like that style of shape-shifting. I've sort of gotten used to this style, and I don't dislike it. It's kind of a bit much, you know, to get used to. I think it's like it becomes its own genre of like doing parkour, but I don't mind. Like, it didn't take me long to get used to it. Not that I'm necessarily good at it, but I don't have that hang up where there's pausing happening, because there literally isn't pausing happening, if that makes sense. So I don't know why other people can adapt to the weird pause so well and I can't, but we all have our limitations, imperfections, whatever you want to call it.